Rockstar, Steve aka Void here. Welcome to another episode of Riffstarter, where I help you play your favorite riffs from day one by removing those annoying speed bumps and roadblocks that slow you down. So all the strategies and techniques from the show are based off my best-selling book, Practice Less, Play More, which you can find at playsongsfaster.com. So welcome to today's episode, episode 10 of Riffstarter. And yeah, today is going to be a fun riff. It's a riff I haven't heard for a little while, but I've been on this pretty like 90s nostalgia trip, and so I've been listening to a lot of Nirvana and Foo Fighters and Stone Temple Pilots, a lot of my favorites from the 90s. And today is going to be from Stone Temple Pilots, Tiny Music, songs from the Vatican Gift Shop, which is one of their best albums, I think. And we're going to be playing Big Bang Baby. Now this riff here, hey Surinder, how's it going, buddy? This riff, it's a cool riff because it shouldn't really make sense, but it's this cool little sort of like chromatic riff and super catchy. Let's get right to it. I'm going to show you kind of, I guess, like the mess that we could find ourselves in, and I'm going to help you get out of that mess. But it all comes down to a lot of guitar players will just load up a tab. So you just go on to, let's say, just search on Google, you go on to Ultimate Guitar, and you just get right into the tab right away. First note, next note, next note, next note, next note. And very often it could take a little while to do that. And so instead, I want to compress that whole experience into something where you could play from day one. But let's get over to my screen. And so you can see here, this is the tab. So this is, I wanted to summarize it all in one screen here. And you can see how pretty much, we have, it's power chords. That's all this is, just power chords. And so quite a bit of movement on the riff. Okay, I'll play the riff again in case you missed the intro. So let's do this here. So I'll play the riff for you. It should sound like this. So on the record, at least, this is what it sounds like. You know what? I'll play with drier distortion here. That's the riff. A lot of movement, lots of power chord movement there. And right now I'm using all downstrokes just for that like really driving sound. So it's a good power chord workout for sure. But the problem is if let's just say you're still working on your power chords, that might be super frustrating to it might take you a little while, and so you get frustrated and you might not actually end up finishing the song, or at least like even having the riff where you could feel like you own it. And I don't want that. I want to make sure that you can play it from day one, get the results, and the results will reinforce the routine. So when you create a game, you're guaranteed to win. And the way to do that is by, instead of trying to match your current skill level to the level of the song or the riff, we want to match the riff to your current skill level, and that's how you play from day one. So instead of approaching it with exactly what's on the tab, which is what like a lot of guitar players would do, they would just load up the tab and they would just play exactly what's there. You can see here, there's some like pretty weird moves, especially right here from this first fret. So going 3, 3, 2, 1. I'm just looking at the root note on the 5th string, 3, 3, 2, 1, and then jumping 3, 3, 5, 5. That's not so bad, but check this out. It goes 5, 4, 3, 3, 2, 1. I have to jump from 1, the 1st fret, to the 5th fret. And so that move right there, if I go back here, it's a pretty big jump, especially for the speed of the song. So here, I gotta jump right there. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is we want to match this to your current skill level, and I'm going to give you a few different ideas here on how to simplify the song. So we don't want to just slow it down. Slowing down is a good tool, speed is a good adjustment, but that's not going to fix everything. And the thrill is going to usually come from playing the song at speed, along with the record, or maybe 90%, 95%. But playing it super slowly, like if I went, it's not going to be as exciting. We want to get the feel of the song and get it as soon as possible. I want you to play it from day one. So what we're going to do is first we're going to look at relocation. So if we just take all of the chords that are on the 5th string, what we could do is we could just relocate them. So we have this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Those are the chords that we need to play on the 5th string. Okay, cool. So what do we do with that? Well, we take 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If we just add 5 to each one, this would be 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. So I go to the 6th string, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Okay, a really handy little tool is you go up a string. So here you're going like up in direction from the 5th string to the 6th string. So you go up, you plus, you add. Okay, so you add 5 frets. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 would be 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And now we just have horizontal movement, but with the same shape. So it would go, you know, that's another way to do it. Way easier. I mean, even on the big jumps here, where it's the first one, sorry. Because it's one move, like that, like one shape, one string, it's not so tricky to do that. It's basically going to be, it's not, I'm not going to say for sure it's going to be easier, because for some people the horizontal move is going to be harder, but for a lot of people, you just keep that one shape, and then that's going to be a good solution. So you have to really like play with it. So there's going to be also some situations where you could play some of it, okay? Maybe you could do 0, so 0, 0, 3, 4, 5, 5, and maybe you could drop down 5, 4, and then maybe this is where you switch, okay? So it's not just that you do a blanket like all the way across. This is all these power chords are going to be on the 6th string. Some of them could be, but the relocation is going to be a great tool where you take the same piece of information and you basically you relocate the same chord in a different spot. So instead of this, it would be like that. Okay, or again, like I said, you can make a custom version where it'd be like maybe here, maybe that's where you switch. It all depends on what's comfortable for you, so you have to experiment a bit. Like the best thing to do is just imagine you're a scientist and you're just going to be doing experiments here. Okay, so that's relocation. Then another thing you can do is you can treat this like a little chromatic exercise. It would be way better than a spider walk, because this is actually musical and you play along with the track. You would actually just take the single notes and you can just play it as a chromatic exercise. Okay, that's another great way to do it, and you play along with the record. Again, these are all ways to play from day one. So if the power chord, moving that around isn't going to work for you, I want you to still play this. So you take all of those notes, all those chords, and you just look at the root notes, and you basically play that. And this would be like a nice little chromatic exercise with a little bit of stretching. Okay, a little bit of rolling with the same finger there. This is a good little exercise. So that's another thing you could do. And then what you would do from there is you would upgrade. Maybe the next day you could play the power chords. I'll get to that in a second. But let's go to the last simplification. So you could also convert. You can play maybe playing the steady downs might be giving you tension, and when you put tension in this hand, you might be having tension in this hand over here. Okay? Or vice versa. This hand having tension will create tension here, and so those downs will create more tension, putting more tension in this hand. They'll keep feeding each other. It's called sympathetic tension. So maybe you might want to just go reckless for a little while with alternate strumming. So and maybe that is going to help relax your hand here and also help relax your power chord, so your fretting hand. So there's that. You could also mix and match the concepts. So you could relocate and you can do the alternate picking. You can convert the strumming. You know what I mean? So you could also do that. So relocation, subtraction, and conversion. Those are my favorite simplification tools. And then what you would do after you have a play from day one version, so a version that you'd play from day one, then you can upgrade, okay? But what's cool about it is, and what I mean by upgrade, before I move on, what I mean by upgrade is, let's say you simplified something one day, then like, let's say the single notes you did today, like that. Well, then tomorrow you can start doing a version where you do the power chords on there. So you can start to upgrade. Like, that's the whole idea of play from day one. Instead of trying to match your current skill level to the level of the riff, you match the riff to your current skill level, and that's how you play from day one. From there, you upgrade until it sounds like the original, or until you're satisfied. Some people are satisfied with just the one version, the simple version, and some people, they just need to upgrade it a bit. Some people aren't satisfied until it sounds like the record, but you still want to have that foundation, that play from day one version, because that's what's going to create the result. It's what's going to create the routine. You're going to be motivated. It's going to be fun. You're going to play along with the record, develop other skills. And then also, what's cool is you have this playing version of the song that you can play along with, and then part of your practice time is going to be practicing the new thing, and you work on that in the laboratory, the new thing, the upgrade, whatever is going to upgrade it. Now I'm going to play power chords, or now I'm going to play it exactly like the tab, whatever it is. You work on that, you're practicing that, but all the while now you have something that you're playing. And that's the whole thing, is if you only had the practice thing and you're always working and it's a chore all the time, you have no payoff. So what play from day one does, it gives you that payoff. All right, so that is basically all I have for you today. It's not the hardest riff in the world, but there is some good movement there. Once you do get the power chords going, I would try it like how it is on the record, or how it is on the tab, just to jump around a little bit. Even if that's not how Dean DeLeo plays it, I would just still try that out, because it's jumping around with the power chord, and that's kind of cool. Like, see if you can keep up with it. And that's basically it. So again, if you want to check out more of the strategies, then you can check out my book, Practice Less, Play More, at playsongsfaster.com. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and we'll see you in the next one.